You share your residence with a presence that you do not know of. You find items in spaces you did not leave them. Other times, small knickknacks and baubles go missing entirely. The house creaks in ways that it shouldn't at night. You hear tiny footsteps running through the attic, and despite what you want to tell yourself, you know that's not mice. There is something in your house. You're sure of it, but no matter how hard you try, you can never spot it. And then one night, late in the evening, when the pale moonlight is pushing past your curtains, you realize that you'd forgotten something downstairs. You groan as you pull yourself out of bed and head downstairs to the kitchen. As you come around the corner, for a split second you see movement, but not in the darkness, but the shadows moving themselves, almost pulling up to form a small little creature. You blink and rub your eyes, but it must have just been a trick of the light, for the space is empty. Instead, a single shiny coin is sitting on the counter. That must have just been what your eyes had seen, nothing more. You yawn and head back upstairs. Unknowingly, you had just encountered a bump. Hi, I'm Ryan, lead designer of Ethereal here at Fineground Cryptids, and today we're going to talk about a unique cryptid of our own design, the bump. Now, before we dive into the video, make sure to check out the description below for a link to our Discord where you can access our quick guide for free. Also, the bump is sort of a mascot of our Discord, so you'll get a ton of cool emotes to go along with that as well. The bump was designed from the ground up as an entity that generally should not be seen as a threat. They are small, fast creatures that move through wisps of the shadows. They love anything shiny and small that they can steal for themselves, but they're shy and tend to live life passively. I was inspired how the darkness plays tricks on the eyes. When you see darkness moving at the corner of your eyes at night and kind of touched into the folklore of spirits that move and take items from people, we kind of brought it all together to create what is now the bump. We want to make an entity that the GMs could easily play into from multiple angles. These critters can be small nuisances alone or grow into a potential problem in large batches if they happen to multiply in town, which, by the way, a group of bumps is known as a nestle. They were created with the idea that the GM could easily place them in almost anywhere in the world, so that even if they weren't designed as an aggressive threat, they could be still used as a fodder enemy, perhaps in a train station, in an old house, or even somewhere in the forest. To do this, part of their lore is that they can sometimes be a bit territorial and greedy over the items that they take, so the GM does have a reason to make them fight or come out of the shadows if they wish, and don't want them being those more passively or timid creatures. But it also opens up angles for other interesting stories as well from a more passive angle. Perhaps a bump has been stealing items for its own little family there, and the players need to figure out how to keep the nestle of bumps safe while also keeping the locals unaware of their presence. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into their stat blocks, as honestly their attacks are fairly straightforward regarding what they can do. They can move between shadows, they can do little bite attacks, but what I do want to highlight is one specific element. In Ethereal, you see, we design every entity with the idea that being unprepared will make any fight, even the easiest against things such as bumps, become a little bit more harder and more difficult and possibly even deadly. And that's true even for the bumps. These are slippery little guys, and if you don't do the proper research and investigate beforehand, you will be in for some trouble. As you see, they replicate themselves when they aren't damaged by weapons coated with salt. This means that a small, easy fight can quickly get out of hand and tons of bumps just moving all over the place. These are also great entities as an intro for new players. They aren't terribly strong, but have a lot of these base mechanics of Ethereal baked into their kits, such as the previously mentioned salt coatings, they have saps, and also allow for players to befriend them at the GM's discretion due to their love of shiny objects. Players can get creative, instead try to coax them out of the shadows or try to push them away from town in other ways. This allows the players to tackle the mysteries in various ways, as agents of the beacons don't always need to kill their target. They just need to cover it up and keep the people safe first. There's also another version of the bump which we call the greedy bump. This is the bump that doesn't know when to stop stealing or hoarding. Its greed's almost become quite a bit of a disease to it. And though its kit is similar to the base bump and it still hates salt, however, there is one difference in its kit where it can push its greed onto a player character and have that player character move towards a direction, breaking up the fight in their positioning. Again, a very simple ability, but it makes movement and positioning very important in Ethereal. And keep in mind, a lot of other abilities in Ethereal are very important on where you are positioned in a fight. But of course, these little guys on their own, they're generally harmless. You have nothing to worry about as long as their greed doesn't get too out of control. Nah, I'm sure it's fine. Thanks for checking out this video. Let me know one experience you've had in life that you can now blame on a bump. See you guys next time.